Yo, what's going on, guys, and welcome to another Elder Scrolls Online video. And today I'm back with the second installment of my PvP guide series here. Really quick, if you haven't seen the first video, I talk about combos and rotations, but I'll leave a link in the description for that. But today I'm going to be talking about movement and positioning in PvP. Now, usually when you hear movement or you think about that term, the first thing that might pop into your head is line of sight because that gets thrown out a lot. Just line of sight, get behind a tree. But there's a lot more that actually goes into being able to do that in Cyrodiil. There's your movement during fights. There's your positioning before you even get into a fight. That's going to dictate a lot of how the fight is going to uh, how it's going to happen. Because bad positioning could end up getting you killed before you could even have a chance to line of sight. So I'm talking about all those things in examples, um, and then like my first video, I'm going to be showing it to you on different builds, and I think that's really important because in this game especially, it's very hard to make a general guide when all of the builds play out so differently. Um, so I'm going to be talking about my DK and my Templar in this video. Um, because they both use some very different movement abilities and um, they just play a lot differently. So I think the purpose of this video is to present these ideas and show you examples, and then hopefully you can take these ideas and think about how to use them in your builds. So yeah, let's get into it. So taking a look at my Dragon Knight here, it is a hybrid, but it plays out a lot like a medium build, or a stamina build, sorry. It's a medium armor, so I have a decent amount of mobility and roll dodge reduction, but because I am a hybrid, I have a decent amount of heals as well, and I can have wings up for a decent amount of time as well. So I try to use both of those things in my movement. Now, in that first little part there, it probably looked like I just tried to go in on the guy, and then once I couldn't kill him, I just tried to run away. But my positioning before I got to him and during this fight kind of dictated how I was going to be able to get out. Now, you can see the bulk of the group is right here. I don't want to try to go this way, obviously, because they can just easily turn around and get a hit on me. Um, I want to position myself kind of on this side of the guy so that once they do turn on me, I can easily use this pillar here to try to line of sight out. Um, so you see, once I jump onto him, um, I'm staying on this side here of him, right? If I tried to go out from behind him, these guys would have been easily able to turn on me a lot faster, um, and then I probably wouldn't have been able to get out. And then I was also thinking about that pillar before I even got into the fight. And then it's not just big pieces of things that you can use as line of sight. This little rock here, right now they can't target me. Little things like this are line of sight as well. So you want to use everything that you can in Cyrodiil to your advantage because those little seconds to where they can't actually press and target you for an ability means a lot. It could really mean life and death. So you can see here, this guy's able to hit me with these snipes, but just a little duck behind this little nook, that right there made it so he couldn't target me for a second, and I was able to get a heal off. Um, so little things like that are the kind of the basic things of how you want to use line of sight to your advantage. Um, but let's take a look at another example. Because it's not always going to be things like this that you'll have to use to your advantage. Alrighty, so this is an example where I don't really have a lot of line of sight, but the movement is what's keeping me alive here. Now on a melee build especially, I recommend constantly moving. Now you can see I kind of I'm still trying to hit a combo hit him, but just the way I'm moving around, I'm not standing in one spot. You just want to make yourself a harder target to hit for people because if you're standing still, you're gonna get bursted probably. Look at how I'm moving around this warden. He uses 3 subterraneans on me. He only ends up hitting me with one of them. Just constantly staying, moving around, making it harder to hit. That is the one sub that hits me there. And then he goes for another one, and you can see I'm moving him to the side. The sub misses, just constant movement. Keeping aware of the group as they're coming. As I'm charging the heavy, I'm still walking backwards to stay on the outskirts of this group here. I'm never really like getting in front of them, so especially on a melee build, like on our builds, you kind of want to be moving around a lot, but especially on a melee build, you really want to make yourself a hard target to hit because with the amount of ranged abilities and stuff that can hit you, AoEs, subterranean assaults, you really want to make yourself a harder target to hit. And this is how, this is just an example of how without line of sight, I was still able to use movement to avoid a lot of damage. Um, but yeah, let's look at one more example of movement on this build. Alrighty, I want to take a look at one more example. This is a fight where you're probably going to be in most of the time, and you don't really have the time to set up and think about where you're going to move. You see I'm kind of in an open field here, and I don't really have anything, and I'm realizing that there's quite a bit of guys that are showing up here. So you see me kind of do a little turn there, and I can see that I have something there behind me to use. So before my resources get low and before I can't do anything to get out, I'm going to try to move the fight before that happens. Um, and then just noticing little things. They split themselves up on this tree. Like, this is a perfect opportunity for you. Now, down there, when I was trying to lock down one of them, it was a lot harder because there's four guys on me. But here, they split themselves up perfectly for me, and they allow me to use that split to get behind this guy. Right now, nobody has a line of sight on me. This guy comes around to try to help him out, but by the time he gets here, it's kind of too late. Um, it's really um, using everything around you. It's not just the build or what you're wearing or whatever. You have to use tons of things to be able to succeed in Cyrodiil. But yeah, let's take a look at my my Templar because that's a very different build. Okay, so taking a looking at my my Templar here, this is a bow focused build. So I want to be at range most of the time. I don't really want to be close to my opponents. This is also a medium build, but it's a lot faster than my DK. Um, so you really want to use speed along with the roll dodges to your advantage. And the only way that you can really use speed in Cyrodiil is direction changing because if you just try to run in a straight line, you're gonna probably get stunned and die. So I do want to show you guys how I how I position myself on this character to not even have to do anything, just by being in a good position, and then also um, how I move around and stuff like that. So let's take a look at some examples for this build as well. So taking a look at my Templar here, like I said, positioning is even more important on this build. This is a fight where I'm putting myself in a position to not even have to deal with anybody. You can see once as soon as I come into here, I see most of the people are fighting in this area. So I put myself in a place where the only place where they can come at me from is straight ahead or behind me, which is a risk that I am taking. Um, but you can see the entire time I'm kind of trying to keep everybody out of my melee range, moving back and forth. Even though I could just be sitting up here, I don't want to make myself an easy target. I'm even roll dodging while I'm up here and nobody's on me. It's just constantly being a nuisance. You can see once they take out the enemy team and I feel like they're gonna end up moving on me, I move before they even get up here, and I'm able to deter her, and then I turn back on them. So it's really on a range build especially, positioning yourself and moving around so that you don't have people on you is especially important. The entire time during this fight, I don't really ever get anybody in melee range or even on me. Um, it's my third kill here. Nobody's been on me still. And then once I kind of clear the room out, I move out, and then I'm still using that pillar there as line of sight. But I'm constantly moving around. But yeah, just tons of movement. You guys gotta try to get used to having in Cyrodiil. And then once again, I want to show you examples of where I'm not going to be in that situation to be able to always position myself. And then one of the things I mentioned earlier is direction changes, and that's kind of um, one of the things you want to use in open world a lot. Now, one of the ways I use it on this build is I have the undo ultimate. So that is just a direct, it puts you 4 seconds back from where you were, but it doesn't always work out. You see, I do kind of juke this guy a little bit, but because you can see the animation, he immediately turns back on me. Um, but something simpler as misting and then immediately turning around. Look how much time he turned around and didn't really see or didn't have the reaction time to turn around on me. It's just giving me a couple of seconds to get around this corner. Like I said, I am faster than most people, and now he's still around that corner. If I had just missed it and then tried to go straight, I would have died because he would have just stayed on me. But as soon as I hit that miss, I turn around because I know his reaction time is not going to be as good. And then I'm able to make all this space for myself here. Um, and then let's just take a look at another situation where um, undo actually does work out for you. Because you hear another situation where I have somebody on me. It's not a good situation to be in on a ranged build. Um, and then I'm once again using direction change and then speed to my advantage. I got a lot further than I did in the other fight there with my undo, so then I kept that straight movement. And look how far back that Nightblade is. I undoed probably back here, and I was able to get all the way back up to this cliff before he was able to turn around and move on me. Um, so yeah, those are the types of things that you kind of want to incorporate and think about when you're in Cyrodiil. And then, like I said in the beginning of the video, you want to think about your build and what you're playing, and then what types of movements you use on that build, and then how you can use these tactics for yourself. But yeah, once again, I wanted to thank you guys so much for watching. If you found this helpful, let me know in the comments, and I'll keep upping these out. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching.